Welcome back. This part is the scary bit of the video where I've got to do the scary cutting on the engine, and this is where it all could go horribly wrong. So wish me luck and have a look, let me know what you think. So first of all, with this one, what I've done to my engine is a decision I've made myself. I've not tried to copy anybody else. I've not tried to do something that I know how to do. I've just had a go and tried to do something. What I don't want, I want people to take inspiration from the videos, of course, to go and have a go, but I don't want you to write in the comments and say, you showed me how to do this and I've ruined my engine. This isn't a how-to or a guide and telling you what to do. This is just my process, my experimentation, modifying the block to fit the 1275 head. So I just want to make it clear that this isn't a how-to. I don't want you to go out and start grinding and drilling and damaging your engine block. But what I will do is I'll show you a little bit more detail about what I did. So we're straight back into getting stuck in with the engine. I've explained a little bit more about what I'm doing here at the end of the video. This is just my very first attempt at making the reliefs. The idea was basically to drill down the required depth and then to grind out. It wasn't fantastic. I'll explain more how I go on a little bit further on. But this at least got the first relief cut. So I'll leave you to watch the cutting of the reliefs, and speak to you again soon. That's the pockets cut in the block, not overly neat. One, another one there, and the last one. I put the cylinder head on and measured the travel of the valves, and each valve has 9mm of travel now. Clean the majority of the grease off the top of the cylinders, but that's going to, I think that's just going to burn off and create a load of smoke when I start it up. So I'm going to start building it back up now. I've just done the cam timing. Got that timed at 105.5 now, so it's all good to go back together. So I'll start building it back up and show you the progress. So I used my new packet of mini spares double valve springs on this cylinder head. just opening them up. They come all packed together nicely. In all the valve work I've done and cylinder head work I've done, I've never fought with valve collets as much as I did here. For some reason they just seem to want to put up a fight, and at one stage, once the footage speeds up, you'll see in a minute, the first one's pinged on the floor. Fortunately I was able to find them because I haven't got any spares, but they're quite a strong spring, these double valve springs. They were quite tough to compress, and there was a couple of times, I don't know if you'll see it in the sped up footage, that as I released the valve spring compressor, I thought I was going to wipe everything off the bench. You can see the cylinder head moving around a fair bit on there. Like I say, they were a very, very tough spring. I've never, with collets before, or keepers if you're American at home, I've never had to use two implements to fit them on. I've always just used one screwdriver and a dab of grease, but I was having to use two just to feed it into place. It's a little bit frustrating, but we got them all installed in the end. Following this section, I was able to, the engine block was already done, was ready. I was able to put the new cylinder head gasket on and put the head on and torque it all down, set the valve clearances, and slowly build everything else up around it.
I built the engine back up a bit more than what I've showed you in that video. It's back in the car. That's going to be in the next video, but it's not running yet. I've got a little bit more work to do, so I just wanted to give you a little bit more detail on how I made the release. I didn't show a lot in the video, so as you'll see, the first part is where I cut this pocket here. I centre punched there, and then drilled down. My idea was, if you take a cross section of the cylinder, was that I'd have a straight drill line down there, and then I could just cut that piece away and leave a nice shape on the edge there. That was my idea. It didn't really work that well, so what I ended up doing with all of these other ones was just using a grindstone to about that kind of shape to start eating into the material, and then which left kind of that shape on the edge of the bore. This is the bore. So then I used the pointy end of a carbide bit just to hollow that out a bit and make it a flatter with a better edge, because that sloped edge there is no good for that's no good for the valve to sit in. It's just going to only go down as far as there. So that's kind of what I did. You don't see a great deal of it in the video, but you end up using the tip of the carbide bit, you end up with a lot better edge. I'll grab the bits I used to show you. Okay, so this is the carbide bit I used. Focus on there. Just use the very tip of that edge just to cut away in those pockets. And this one, if it will, let me put that down. And this one is the grindstone. You can see that's been used previously. It's got quite a groove all around it. I'll just use that shape of that edge to start to cut down. Put it on like that, so it cut down, but left quite a slope along that edge there. So that gave me the shape, and I was able to move that backwards and forwards, and then just go around in the corners, like just with this tip, just to tidy it up a bit. It was quite nerve-wracking doing that. I put the cylinder head back on and put my DTI on each of the valves and held it under tension, lowered the valve, and was able to get full 9mm of movement with each valve, not catching anything. So I'm quite pleased about that. So I put the cylinder head back on after you've seen me rebuild it with new valve springs. Valves are all lapped in, new stem seals. I've put double valve springs on, so they're all lapped in and done. Put the head back on the engine, put all the ancillaries around it. There's just a couple of bits I'm missing. I needed a top radiator hose, a thermostat to radiator bracket, and some studs for the heater tap take off. So waiting on the studs still. I've got the the radiator bracket. I've got the top hose, so I just need the studs to come, and then I can finish putting those bits back together. And I've got a freshly rebuilt carb to go on it as well, which I'll show you in the next video. I've not got that yet. I'm waiting for that to come back. I've given it to a friend who's a bit of an expert on carburetors, and he's going to he's out refurbishing that for me. So once that all comes back, the next video, finishing off a few bits under the bonnet, putting the engine in, finishing off bits and pieces, and seeing if we can get it started. So that'll be interesting. Thanks again for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments.